Hello everyone, welcome back to another Space Marine 2 post-commentary video where I talk about the miniatures I'm working on and kind of go through the gameplay a little bit. Alright, so to get started, this is the rollover for the week. So we have a new weekly stratagem. If you're going to get your 150 points, it's on Vortex, and the big takeaway for me was that there is a modifier where there will be an enemy on the field that only you can destroy. So it's up to you to make sure it dies. There's going to be a marked one for you or your teammates, and the respective person has to kill that enemy. And I only noticed it once in this gameplay. You'll see later on there's a like a Zinch warrior that, or I think it's a horror that has like a little skull over its head, and only I was able to kill it, so I had to shoot some plasma shots its way. And just jumping straight into my little bloggy section here where I talk about my miniatures. I do have some footage to show you. I'm going to link that into this. And it's the magnetization of my Redemptor Dreadnought. I was able to get that done. Now, I didn't want to cut into him too much. So if you look at the bottom of this footage, you'll see that, this went in really well. That's pressure fit. I just grinded away really slowly. And then I was fitting the magnet into the well that I was creating little by little. And I didn't even get to put glue in there because by the time I pressed it in to see if it was going to fit, I couldn't get it back out. So I just left it in there. At a later time, if it ever becomes an issue, I can dig it out and it won't be glued in there. So yeah, that was a lucky happenstance. As far as the bottom section goes, I did cut away the nub that was there, and I was like angling the chassis forward to make sure that he wasn't looking up in the sky like those other pictures that I showed in the previous video. And yeah, so I had the magnet glued, not glued, but setting onto the magnet that's in the chassis, and then I angled him. I put some super glue on the bottom magnet, and then I just held it in place, and I just made sure it was balanced with my little level, and I waited for the glue to set. Now, as you can see, the glue for the bottom piece that sticks to the hip or the legs, it's kind of floating there, and that's just the way it landed. So what I am going to do later on is get some of that green stuff that I always hear people talking about, and I will just kind of build up some layers there so I can kind of have it supported on the bottom a little bit more, and I'll paint that up, and hopefully it'll like look a little bit more natural. But other than that, as you can see from the footage here, it it works. He's able to rotate at the hip or at the waist, and all the movable parts like the plasma incinerator, the macro plasma incinerator, I can aim that up and down. The arms can rotate in their sockets. It's a little tight, so I won't do it too often. Same thing for the left arm with the chain Gatling gun and the power fist. That moves up and down, bends at the elbow, rotates at the shoulder. So everything is great there. So yeah, I'm happy with my final result for him. I still haven't done the moot green highlights. Yeah, I'm being a little lazy with that, I could tell. It's just that I haven't had a reason to break out moot green lately, so when I do, which is soon here, I might just bring it over here. And so getting into that, in my last video I talked about how I wasn't quite happy with the Screaming Skull edge highlight that I did on my veterans, my Blade Guard veterans. And so I have some comparison pictures here that I pulled up because I did end up getting Wraithbone, and I have edge highlighted my Terminator here, my Deathwing Knight. And even though he's not fully painted, I just wanted to get some comparison of one highlight to the other. And in some pictures, you can't really tell. You know, they look the same. The edge highlights are kind of profiling out the same in these pictures, and in other places you can definitely tell that there is a difference between the whites of the Screaming Skull and the Wraithbone. So like I said, the Screaming Skull edge highlight is on the Blade Guard Veteran, and the Wraithbone highlight is on the Deathwing Knight Terminator armor here. And so here's some pictures that I've captured of that. And I do have to go in there and still paint the rest of this Deathwing Knight. I figure he's probably going to have like 2 more painting sessions. The body shouldn't take too long. I'm just going to need some lead belcher, some brown for the belt and the scabbard, and some gold for the skull and the sensor. And yeah, I don't think that'll take me too long. I'll do a dry brush highlight on the robe. What I do think will take a while is going to be the shield. Looking at the shield on the Bulwark here, and I'm going to try and reflect that color scheme. So we're going to get Retributor Gold edges, same thing for the edge of the wing, and then I will get white on the feathers. And instead of painting the sword red like on the box art, I will go ahead and put lead belcher down on that sword as well, like on the Bulwark here in the game. So yeah, and then the power maul, I don't think will take that long. You know, just a bunch of lead belcher, some highlights, you know, a little bit of a glow effect here and there. And look, I'm going to do a gold pommel and a red handle. So I don't think he'll take too long. So I foresee like maybe 2 more, you know, 3-4 hour painting sessions. So about maybe another 6 to 8 hours before this guy's done. And that's me taking my time and putting some days between it. So hopefully once one's done, I'll get the ball rolling on the other 4 of these guys. More updates to come. And yeah, that's where I'm at right now with my painting. Hopefully these insights are pretty cool for you guys to see my progress coming along. And yeah, I hope you like the Redemptor Dreadnought Magnetization that I did. That was my first time, and I think it came out great. So, alright, getting back to the gameplay here. This is the normal weekly Vortex mission, as I've said before. And you know, it's not that hard. I'm playing not that great, to be honest with you. I am spamming the sword, and that was kind of what I was going into it with. The idea was that because you have a lower window for parries and what do you call it? Yeah, executions. I'm sorry, or not the executions, but that little blue window to for the quick reaction. I thought, you know, I should use a fencing weapon so that way I can extend that window out as great as I can. And you know, the fencing power sword swings pretty dang fast. I think it's at a 9 speed, so it's up there when it comes to fast swing speed weapons. And when you do parry, you do a good chunk of damage to people in a little AoE. And I didn't really get a lot of parries off. You're going to see that in the gameplay. You probably noticed it as well. But thankfully, since it's the normal stratagem, I wasn't punished so much for that. And this is one of those missions that I've only played like 2 or 3 times, so I don't really have a mastery of the objectives and where things show up. And I think it also has like maybe 1 or 2 like branching pathways. Like sometimes you go left instead of right. I could just be that unfamiliar with the level, so I definitely noticed myself kind of being lost here and there. That was a good parry right there, and it got the execute, and that was probably from the damage from the parry. I totally did not notice I was out of ammo, so if you saw me sitting there clicking away like what's going on, yeah. Good for the Emperor. You know, I always try to give it back. I think it's a a morale thing when you're playing with strangers, you know, that for the Emperor back and forth kind of stuff. Kind of lets them know that you're enjoying yourself, and I think it keeps team morale up. Getting sucked in, going into the next stage. Yeah, so I think this is, we're coming up on the part where the executable enemy shows up for me. Not executable, the special creatures that only you can kill from up. Man, these guys are rushing the enemy. So they got the parry right there. I was going for the execute on the left, but he died too fast. I definitely needed all that ammo that I just picked up right there. I had 0 pistol ammo for a while. And that's also why I chose the plasma pistol to go along. Not only is it on theme with the Bulwark here, and Dark Angels in general, having an affinity for plasma weapons, it's just also that I feel like plasma weapons do a little better against chaos enemies. You know what I think would be a good idea for the future here is when I'm done painting my incursion force, which I should be done here soon after I finish these Deathwing Knights. What I should do, and I think this is a great idea, hopefully I'm original in it, I should paint up a miniature that matches the champion skins of this game. That does mean I'm gonna have to go out and get like a Space Wolf themed skin, you know, and Phobos armor, you know, minis. But I think that would be a cool series, videos, you know, maybe 2 or 3 videos each, matching up the champion skin as best as I can with the miniature and painting it up, and you know, maybe even getting some of that green stuff and modeling out, you know, shoulder pieces and other items that probably you can't find in a kit. Like, I'm looking at this Bulwark Dark Angels champion skin, and as far as robes go, and I have the upgrade sprues, and I have the Deathwing Knights, and they do have robes that face forward. But if you look at the robes of the champion skin, it's more of a, you know, like a, is it a cloak, you know, or full robes in the back as well. And I don't really see, you know, at least with the stuff that I've seen in the Warhammer store, I don't really see any Space Marines that come with robes that cover the back and the front, except with the inner circle companions that you can get for the Dark Angels. So I wonder if that would be a good way to start with a conversion kit, or converting, it would be considered kit bashing, I guess, to get the Dark Angels look here, and then maybe get some intercessor arms, the Tacticus arms with the upgrade sprues. And you know, look at the shoulder here on the right. I don't know where you would find a shoulder that ornate in the kits, so that would probably be something you have to model out, or you know, sculpt out. The shield, 100%. I'm looking at, you know, if you look at the picture I'll put up on screen right here, that's the same shield. I mean, give or take a few things that you can get with the Deathwing Knights. So that would, I wouldn't even try to like 1-for-1 it. I would just use that as a stand-in. Yeah, I think that would be interesting. Be an interesting set. Easy peasy, lemon squeezy. Okay, as you see the skull on the right hand of my screen, I barely noticed it myself. That's an indicator saying, hey, you know, like, you have to kill that enemy. And here I am, you know, acting like a dumbass, just going after the enemies in front of me, completely tunnel visioned. And my two teammates were sitting there, you know, keeping that at bay, and only I was able to put the final blows on that. So, luckily I had just enough plasma pistol shots to take him out, and we can move forward without the nuisance. I usually use these power sword in the power mode, you know, and it's the mode where you see the power sword have like the bigger glows of lightning, you know, and surging through it. And I like that mode because with this high attack speed that you get with the power sword, the fencing power sword, you know, you can kind of easily take out crowds of enemies and still work your way through the Majora's enemies. Somehow I just found myself not activating it here towards the end as much, or if at all. Now this was my chance to show off, and remember, you get parry damage, or you parry, when you parry an enemy, you do damage against them. And I know you can parry the boss like 4 or 5 times in a row. And I should have, you know, had my moment of glory and got like 4 parries off of him right now. But I definitely got rolled over. But as you can see, you know, on this normal mode, he took a lot of damage in that opening engagement. The weekly stratagem hard mode, I think that's going to take a few attempts. You know, I crutch on the fencing parry window, and I could foresee that that shortened window is gonna hurt me. So see what class I end up taking. Maybe tactical with fencing chainsword or something. So we gotta kill the enemies in the 4 corners here. And I think in hard mode you can get like Terminators popping out of these portals as well, so nothing like that in normal mode. That's the 3rd corner, 3rd wave of enemies. Teammates are crushing it. That would have been a good parry, but it was actually an unblockable, so I was supposed to dodge. So that's the last of the enemy. That's all 4 corners. And here he goes. That was kind of a cool finish in my eye, like on the side there. So yeah, that's my video for today. I will upload another one tomorrow, and it might be another normal mode video, and that's just because I want to provide quick updates with the painting progress. And sometime this week I'll get the hard mode video out, and that should be coincide with the finishing of this Deathwing Knight. So thank you for watching, and hope to catch you on the next one.